wait for it to kick in?
Let's go. I don't know if I'm ready. Allegedly? What?
No, this is a freeway 122.
Oh, okay. yes, that was 22 east. Oh my gosh. That's not fair, man. That's not fair. Please don't put more power into the car. There's no need. There's no need. Dude, like, I couldn't even say anything because the power just kept going and going. I'm like,
it wants more.
I'm like, where's it gonna kick in? Is it done kicking in? No, it just kept going and going.
Nope, it will just keep going. On third gear, you're about 115.
That's crazy.
115.
What year is the car again?
2007.
2007?
2007. It's...
How are these roads legal? Man. All right, everyone, welcome back to Automotive Anatomy. Today we have Raff. Raff, thank you so much for making the time, man.
What's up, man? Good morning.
Man, thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for driving out here.
Yeah.
It's not a close distance to you, so definitely appreciate it, man. Tell us, what do you drive?
What we have here is a 2007 997.1 twin turbo, and it's slightly tuned, nicely massaged.
So. Oof. First and foremost, that's a long name.
Yeah.
That sounds like a party.
Yeah.
Second of all, when Porsche do say slightly massaged, that means that it's probably more than that. But we'll definitely get into it. But I'm sure you didn't start with Porsches. Tell me a little bit about your history with cars. Like, when do you remember thinking this is a hobby, this is what I want to pursue?
Oh man, ever since I was a kid, I was always obsessed. Ironically, right now, it's the LA car show that's going on. So every time I'd go to LA car show with my family, it's almost like a yearly tradition. We would go around and then I would get every single brochure inside the car show. So I would bring it home at the brochure, I would look at it, I would obsess at it. And then obviously I would go to the area where they have the toys and everything. You know, the parents were like, you can't get everything. So, you know, I would go home obsessing, like, I wish I had that toy, and then I wish I had that car. So
that's
obsession
funny.
Still goes on. We just buy bigger toys.
Yeah, now they're just bigger. And
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
yeah.
Growing up, what was the cars that you were into? Was it Japanese? Was it Euros? What was it?
I mean, it depends on my mood, actually.
Oh, nice.
It depends on my mood, depends on who I'm hanging out with, and you get influence. So, you know, the older kids had Japanese cars, and then my family had a restaurant in Sun Valley, so it was predominantly Hispanic. So those guys would come in either with the lowriders, or sometimes they had trucks, mini trucks. So I would go to 7-Eleven and buy the mini truck magazine. I'll check that out.
Good old days, man.
Yeah,
Yes,
the mini trucks with the little beds and everything. And then they would come and park too and listen to Stevie B, and I'd get into Stevie B, you know? So it was, depending on the mood, that's what I would be like. Oh, I like that, but I was never biased to one thing. I was just like everything.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That makes you even a better car enthusiast, because then you understand, you appreciate everybody's build, regardless if you like that model or not, but it just is different.
Yeah.
Okay. What becomes your first car?
I had, like everybody else, hand-me-downs.
Okay.
Right? My first hand-me-down was a 1989 Nissan Maxima.
Oh.
Pearl white with the brown interior and the automatic what is it? The seatbelt. Well, so when you try to get out real quick, you're like stuck because it's pulling you on the neck.
I'm trying to picture which one that 1989 Max.
It's automatic with the overdrive button. So it's like a downshift, and then when you're in a higher speed and you push it, it's like an overdrive extra gear.
So you practically had a race car. That's what you're saying.
Technically, I slammed it on. It was my mom's car / my car going into my car. So even before it was officially mine, I dropped it with in-tracks, and it was like 2.5 drop below. Put some DTM tips on it, thinking I was super touring. Remember the super touring races?
Dude.
With the Honda?
Yes.
With the Honda Accord, with the Volvo wagon.
Of course.
And I wanted to be the super touring, but they never had a Maxima in the super.
The car, I mean, obviously it's a freeway, it's wide,
No.
but I'm sure tight corners you might be having to fight the car a little bit.
No, depending on the gearing that you are. Just like what James was saying, you can You can control. Since this is an all-wheel drive car too, you can control where you want the car on the throttle.
This was an all-wheel drive?
All-wheel drive.
Ah, that makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
No wonder I was like that. It just went so linear.
So the other cars, this is great on the canyons too.
I bet, yeah.
But it loves the open road. Loves the open road. It just wants to keep going. This is such an Autobahn like cruiser. So you already got to Glendale.
It takes 2 hours in my Honda, and your Porsche took 20 minutes.
First car that I ever bought, Volkswagen bus.
No.
Yeah.
What year?
It was a 1979 Westphalia. I bought it for $400 in Palmdale. I didn't even have my license yet. So we went out and just.
How old were you?
I was 16, but I didn't have my license. I didn't get my license until I was 18 because my mom wanted to keep our insurance down.
Makes sense, dude.
Right? So, dude, it was funny as hell. I mean, that was my first car that I purchased.
All the way to Palmdale.
All the way to Palmdale.
What can go wrong?
This side was wrecked. That side was nice because in Palmdale you tip over because of the high winds.
Yeah.
So when I would cruise around my school, I was only cruising on one side. I would only run one block all the way around.
Man, you always reverses too instead of just in the U-turn.
Yeah. So my friend on the passenger seat is the only one I was able to hit up the girls like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Because he's on the good side.
Now don't come in through this side.
Yeah.
There's sliding doors on the other side. Gotcha. That's funny, man. How reliable was that? I mean, $400 VW bus.
It was good.
Oh,
it was
okay.
really. It's a Volkswagen. You know, the motor's good, but the only problem is the ignition. You don't even need a key. You just turn it on and it goes.
I think it was stolen, but okay.
It got stolen. It got stolen. I was like, bro, that was my $400 I saved up for that. You know. So like,
it got stolen. Did you ever recover it? Did you ever find it?
no, never.
Man,
never.
that could have been worth 40 grand right now.
And then it could take more power if you wanted to, but I think the balance of this car, the way it is now,
I think so too, man. There's nothing you should be having to do to this car. It's already ready from the box. And again, it's so comfortable, man. I mean, yeah, you're right. Like I wouldn't think that the car is lower. I wouldn't think that the car has aftermarket wheels.
yeah.
Now the question for you is, now that you experienced this turbo, have you been able to driven NA Porsches?
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you feel about that?
Again,
How might be different.
Different mood. If I wanted to be, sometimes I prefer NA Porsches in the canyon,
Right.
Because I could be inside the pocket of the power the whole time. I could just float whether I want to go in, going into the turn, floating into the turn. Especially with a rear-wheel drive car, you want to be on the throttle. You don't want to lift off because they're heavy in the rear. You start pitching. You're load bearing. You're taking off the load, so that lifts up the back, and it's going to want to pull out. So with the NAs, that's just fun because you could come out of the pocket of that turn real quick. Now with all-wheel drive turbo, something else. You could be all in the power. Once it goes straight, you just slam it and it just takes off.
Yeah. It's a way different drive.
Yeah. It's a little different, but remember we were talking about my Prius. I had fun with that going downhill. Like I'll chase like Mustangs, other cars. That car had a full coilover system, had TRD sway.
Oh really? So it wasn't like a stock Prius.
No.
I'm thinking like some guys use M3 right in a canyon, and here's a Prius just chasing them because you know there's always the driver mod as well.
It has the work emotions on it, and my friends like they're laughing at me. I'm like, dude, once you'll beat me uphill, I'll chase you on the downhill. Back, I'll go, it's tired, the suspension's tired.
Need to put air on the tires, Mom. Gotcha. So, okay, how do we stumble upon this Porsche, beautiful Porsche build? Where did that bug start, and where did you pick it up?
So, I picked this up in 2018.
Oh, before the craziness.
Before the madness happened.
Gotcha.
So, I was looking for another car. I had other crazy builds. All my cars were silver. My CL55s were silver. All the cars that I wanted to build were all silver. So I used to have a thing called Silver Squad. Everything in my household was silver.
Wow.
So I actually wanted to buy another car. It was just a Lexus LS 460, which I had.
Big bodies.
Also. Big bodies.
They're cool. Yeah.
And my wife's like, "Why are you selling
silver?"
Yeah, man. But I was like, She's like, are you sure you want that? Are you sure you want that? I know you've been wanting a Porsche for a long, long time since you.
Oh, she's a keeper.
Yeah. Because she knew I had a Porsche previous that, but I had to get rid of it because I was graduating college. I needed to start a career, and I knew I was gonna get married.
Right.
I go, let me become an adult, right?
Boo.
I'm still not an adult. She doesn't know that.
So you already married, so.
I bought this car over at MDK International with Mike, and till this day he said he should have let this car go. So it never, what you see now, it didn't even look like this. It was pretty banged up, not too banged up, but there's enough for me to say I gotta put my touches to it.
Right. You gotta.
Yeah. So that's how it started, and basically it was my wife's catalyst of her just pushing it.
That's cool.
So back then, I was about to turn 40. She's like, look, you work so hard, just get you something nice. I'm like, no, I gotta think about the family. Let me just stick with a Lexus. She's like, you don't want to be like a Korean grandpa driving around it, you know? All you need now is the visor. And but I was like, nothing, no offense to my Korean buddies, but you know who you guys are. So she surprised me on my 40th birthday. She took me out to the Porsche Experience Center.
Oh, no.
Got a car, manual, and I'm like, what's going on here? She's like, this is your birthday gift. I'm like, this is great. So I'm going around and I said, this is the worst idea.
Yep.
Next month I was already contemplating the new 991 or the 997 turbos with the manual. They're the same price. So I figured, you know what? Screw it. I saw this at MDK. I got it because I knew I was at the bottom of the curve. The price is only going to go up.
The car that you wanted, you got it. What's the name of the color, and has it been resprayed?
Yeah, so this is a color called GT Silver, and some people don't believe it's a GT Silver because of the shine. Now,
okay,
what we did when we first got it, I wanted to fix little imperfections in the car, and when I took it to my friend Greg over at AG Auto Collision, he goes, you do know about 80% of the things that you're pointing out is 80% of the car. So might as well respray the whole car. So we ended up respraying the car. He took everything apart, very quality, and he takes his time on it. And then, we put the OEM aero kit, we put the GT2 wing, and after that we put PPF on the whole car. So basically it's a aero front lip. So people ask me what kind of bumper this is. The reason why it looks different, it's an OEM bumper, but it just has these grills. They were custom made inlets that you could buy for this car. So the grill makes a big difference, and it works. It has its purpose. Aesthetic wise, it looks great.
Right.
And the intercoolers are over here, so I don't want like debris and anything into the air.
And these ones have dual. My buddy Gabe, he has the 996 turbo. He's like, there's two coolers up front. I was like, wow, okay, gotcha. Beautiful, man. And so then the car was resprayed how long ago?
This was done, so I got the car in 2018. I didn't really fully get my car back till almost 2019.
Wow.
So what we did first is I made sure everything mechanical was working.
Smart.
I had everything there, and then it got sent off to the body shop.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't get my car back for almost 5 months.
Wow.
Because Greg was very, very meticulous on his paint, and he's like an artist. He really takes pride in his work. So what happened is he goes, I know you're going to PPF the car. We'll do everything first, and we'll let it cure for 3 months before putting the PPF.
Awesome.
Because if a lot of people will put PPF right after the paint shop, and then when you peel it off like a Band-Aid, it hurts. It takes off the paint. So from there, that's 5 months already. Then we started sourcing out the wheels. Then we started sourcing out the tune. Then we were doing the titanium exhaust, hand built.
So all the fun stuff came after you did the maintenance, and then
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure mechanically it was just gonna be a monster.
Good.
Yeah.
That's been smart. You've come a long way from your Maxima days, sir.
Yeah.
Suspension wise, what do you have going on?
So we still have the stock struts because I have the PASM because you could turn it on and off. But it is lowered on H&R Sport, but we also have a DSC module suspension controller. So what that does is, So imagine if you're going into the corners or whatnot, the computer box, the brain, it knows you're about to dip, it evens the car out.
Interesting.
So if you're driving slow, if the exhaust is not really loud, you could hear the shocks moving.
It's individually, independently?
Yeah, it starts controlling everything.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I mean, out of the box, the Porsche is already like that, but they added an extra brain to the suspension.
Oh my God.
And it was a plug and play, like 15 minutes. I just took out the old box and plugged everything in, and it made a big difference.
Wow, that's
Because
cool.
with the PASMs, when you're on stock car, with the PASM, you could drive it soft, but when you're on a freeway, it's too soft.
Oh, okay.
And if you press it to go hard on the track, you're jarring in there. Your teeth are clamping together. So this one kind of balances it out even more.
Sweet spot. Wow, that's awesome, man. And then wheels and tires, since obviously they're not stock.
Yes, so these are the BBS E88s.
Boo, we want to Recon Master.
Yeah.
These are cheaper, right?
So basically,
Beautiful wheels, man.
yeah, the specs are 19 by 9s in the front, 19 by 12s in the rear.
Wow,
They're-
12s.
They're not using any spacers.
12s.
Yeah, the tire sizes are massive. So this is, I believe, a 325. Yes, 325. What is that? 30 19s.
Wow.
So there are no spacers. So basically, these were made to order. Shout out to Eric over at Supreme Power Parts. I told him, look, this is the look I want. He's like, don't worry about it. I got you. I already know the specs. So he does a lot of Porsches.
I
out
love
there.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So they came, and quick funny story about these. These were my first big boy purchase of BBS. Usually I would look for used BBSs, banged up, and I have to repair them. So when I ordered them, they came into the store at the shop, and I go, Eric, where's the BBSs at? And he's like, they're right here. I'm like, that's a plain brown box. There's no BBS logos. I go, I want to have the BBS box to keep at home. He's like, these are motorsport wheels. They go straight from the factory, straight to the racetrack. They don't care about the box. Well, I do. So Eric, I want my BBS boxes.
The plywood boxes. That's so funny, but that's so cool, man. The fact that like you go through those learning experiences. Yeah, this is. We forget. I think we put Volk TE wheels on regular cars, but
Right.
they're supposed to be for motorsports. There's
Right.
a purpose behind them, and obviously more expensive wheels like this with more heritage. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait, where's our box with our sticker?
Quick note, BBS E88s don't come with center caps. They just come hollow. So these are custom caps that Eric made with the BBS logo.
Oh wow!
So you had
What
to
are your
go,
BBS logo, man?
and I said, hey, you got to show the BBS. You know what the BBS stands for when you go buy these wheels? It's big broke style.
You're a big broke style, man, but we love it. Don't change it. I think your buddy nailed it. The look on it is perfect. It's super functional. The wheel size, it flows so nicely. Man, there's nothing I can say. You guys nailed it. This is the perfect fitment for such performance-oriented build car.
Yeah.
You nailed it. It's perfect.
And,
Wow.
and it's easy to drive. Honestly, like I know you were.
What, 12s in the back and
But
600 horsepower? Yeah,
I know
sure,
you,
buddy.
I know you were in James's car, and a GT3 feels so much different than a turbo. When you drive a turbo, it feels like a BMW, like a BMW M3. The clutch is nice and soft. It's very different.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's night and day. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay. Well, we're definitely gonna be able to experience that later on. So since we're in the back, okay, I mean, I just love, I love everything about the back of this car.
You mean wide hips?
Yes, the wide hips definitely likes to squat. I love the fact that if you know that this vents right here, it comes from a turbo. The way the exhaust is routed, the car itself is just so nicely done. I think Porsche has done an amazing job every single year of just perfection and perfect. The 992s right now are insane, but this is really nice. Tell us, since we're in the back, exhaust system, what do you have going on?
So the exhaust system was built by a good friend of ours. His name is RS. He has a RS Speed, and these are titanium exhaust. It's hand built.
Wow.
So when he first built it, had no cats. So
Saves a lot of weight.
a lot of weight. Actually, right now, the weight on the exhaust is 11 pounds.
That's it?
That's it. So I felt like I had so much more horsepower because there's unsprung weight. So the stock exhaust is about 56 pounds.
That's a big difference.
Big difference.
And it breathes much faster.
Titanium just sounds so different. Again, you're asking me about the vision of this car. These cars sound like a Dyson vacuum cleaner, stock. Right?
Well, you say that they're so comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're driving around, you're like, okay, and then all of a sudden the speed just kicks in because you don't know what's happening. With the exhaust, you know it's about to come because you could hear it like open really, really wide.
Interior, seems like you nailed the outside. I'm not even gonna ask you if there's a future plans because I don't want any future plans for the outside. Let's talk about the inside. What have you done to it?
So the interior, predominantly it's stock. I like the comfortable seats. It has obviously the lumbar support like my Prius never had. I have heated seats. My buddy Maurice gave me a gift of these floorboards with my name on it.
What?
So RBY stands for Rafferty Brian Yao, and then the Porsche.
Whoa.
So it was a nice gift.
That's a beautiful gift.
You can't see the shifter, but it's a numeric short shifter with cables, and it shifts. If you ever driven an S2000, it's very direct. That's how it shifts.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So, and we also changed the head unit because I still want creature comforts. I like listening to music if I could hear it through the exhaust. We added a reverse camera.
Oh, wow.
So when I'm reversing and I can't see over that wing or the wide hips, I can see what's behind me.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So other than that, the reason why I also chose a 911 because it does have a back seat. So you do see I have a child seat in the back. My kids love going in this car and they love going fast.
So technically it's the same thing as that Lexus that you were thinking about buying.
Yeah.
It's just more comfortable.
Exactly. And I don't drive fast, I just fly really low.
Don't drive fast, just fly very low.
So the shift knob is by Black Forest Industry. I wanted an upgrade, but I also wanted something OEM looking.
And these are OEM seats, right?
OEM seats, they're just the comfort seats. So if I wanted to chill around town, I'm comfortable. If I wanted to be cruising in the freeway, I'm comfortable. That's cool. But it wakes up in the canyons.
Okay.
And basically what I would call this car is a Swiss Army knife of cars.
Oh, nice.
You have every purpose for it.
Yeah. Just have that adrenaline to be able to push a car more than us. Like
Yes.
That's a big difference, you know. People are just willing to do that.
Plus, he's a little insane.
You kind of have to be.
So you
to be a great driver.
If you want to drive it normal, you can.
That Tesla beat us. Congrats, you played yourself in your BBS wheels, bro. Yeah. That Tesla beat us. This is amazing, man.
See, normal. Then you want to stab it. It goes over 4,300. Then the turbo kicks in.
What is the turbo power band? 4,300 to what?
4,300, close to even 6.
Okay.
Close to even 6, but you can rev this all. It likes to be revved out.
Is that right?
It loves to be revved out.
What is the rev limiter?
It's at closer to 7s at 6,800.
Okay.
But I think with the tune, I could get close to 72.
Gotcha.
I don't start pegging it until like 75.
Oh, wow. So you said it was tune. What were the numbers again?
It's relatively close to 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about torque?
Stock torque was already at 5, 10.
Wow.
So, you know.
That's a lot. I still can't believe he's in 07, dude. I can't believe it.
Yeah, so if we wanted to just cruise, like right now, we're going to cruise. Just happy just to sit here. I'll even put it on a softer setting. Now we're on a softer setting. When I'm hitting hard turns and corners, I'll turn on the PASM.
That's so crazy how like you have that technology in an 07 car, you know? A street car too. Were you afraid to track the car to begin with, or you've always been like, I drive my cars?
The thing is, I remember having an older car, and they were like, man, I wanted to keep up with these other guys. And I was before I joined a crew a long time ago called RPG, Renner Performance Group. It was a big Volkswagen group. and then I had the Audi A4, all nice.
Nice.
And then when we went into the canyons, they would just spank the living crap out of me, and I'm like, nope. Next car I'm gonna get, I'm gonna drive the snot out of it.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Man.
Really drive your car. It's an extension of yourself. You take pride in it. And that's what I'm trying to show my son. I'm like, look, he's like, why do you think I keep my car so clean? It's an extension of myself. If I have a sloppy car and it's dirty, people are gonna look at me like, how does this guy run his life?
Yep.
Right?
Wow, that's very powerful because this is very true. And that's also out delivering ramen. Apparently he's Porsche. Yeah. And what do you put a water cup there, Dad?
Exactly.
Don't worry. Gotcha. Well, let's talk about the engine, if you don't mind showing us the power plant.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So here.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know how. I was looking to see how the trunk would open because they have it all different.
Oh, I'm gonna have a funny story for you after this. So this is gonna be one of the last models that you're gonna see engine. In the 991s, it's all covered already with plastic.
I think you see a fan.
You'll see the
and
fan.
You see like something to refill something.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Sad.
this is it's a 3.8 liter twin turbo. The turbos are down there. What we did on the internals, we do have a GT3 throttle body.
Oh, nice.
And we have IPD plenums to make this car breathe a lot more. So now it's running into the GT2 specs.
Interesting. Ah.
So, and it does have a tune. We are using a Cobb tune, but we had some, who was the one remapped it? Somebody else remapped it for us. What I like about the Cobb tune is when I do need to get it smogged, I can detune the car and then go take it to the smog shop.
No, really?
Yeah, it's an access port. I just put it into to the port, detune the car, do my drive cycle. Basically, drive cycle is turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. Then I have to drive it around. That's why I always drive around the canyons. After 50 plus miles or so, the car's reset. So the computer, the air, the mass airflow sensor, everything is resetting.
That's so good. Man. Okay, and then you already did the exhaust.
Yeah.
The car itself, you never taken it apart. There's no need to. 65,000 miles has been reliable.
If I'm gonna constantly track the car, there is something that they're called pinning the coolers, the oil coolers. What they'll do is eventually those will leak if you're just hammering on the car, and that's just hours and hours of track and just beating on the car. So what you're gonna have to do is get the oil cooler lines, and they're pinning them, meaning they're gonna weld them shut, like just weld them in the seams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But for now, it's good. I mean, any future plans for it? I mean, usually I tease people and say, are you going to turbo it? But this one already has turbos.
See, the thing is,
are you going to make it NA?
Eric from Supreme, he's like, hey, you know we could be pushing a little over 850 on this.
Oh, no.
I'll go, we could put a tail, turbo, we could do the tune. Easily, these cars will do 800 to 850 and keep the stock clutch and stock transmission. And it'll handle it. But once we get in, you're gonna think I think this is more than enough. And to me, it's more than enough. And when I'm in the canyons, sometimes it's like, this is death waiting for me in the canyons. With the speed, what it has now. When I did detune it and to do my run for the smog, I enjoyed it more stock. Because I was able to run all the way up to 4th gear. No, seriously. You run over 4th gear, you're barreling into the corner and not thinking that you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And then it's controllable. So if you have that, you could turn it on and off, which is great. So like it's a Swiss Army knife. You're gonna pick which weapon you're gonna use for the day.
Wow. I love it, dude. Oh.
But as for, quick story before we go into interior. My old Porsche, I got pulled over at Monrovia. And my friend and I were looking at my car across the street, and we were about to cross the street. Before that, 2 cops passed by and we stopped. You know, we didn't want to get hit. But Monrovia is a small little town. They passed by to look at us, and I got to my car and he pulls back and goes, are you seriously gonna jaywalk right in front of me? And I'm like, dude, no one's here. It's nighttime, you know? He's like, do you know there's drunk drivers here? You should use the crosswalk. I'm like, officer, no disrespect, but the drunk driver is drunk. This is not a magical forceful crosswalk. I'm still gonna get
Smart
hit.
Ass.
Yes, I know. That was when I was young. So
now I'm just old and smart ass still.
yeah, exactly. So now he goes, is this your car? I goes, yeah, let's look in your car. So they're searching.
What?
It's a 1984, so there's not this bare. And he saw my bag in there, and he goes, what is this bag for? I go, that's to hold my coins. I don't have a ashtray or a cup holder. It's just to hold my coins. So he's like, can we search your car? I go, yeah, search my car. And as he's searching, his partner's in the back, you know, obviously keeping his 6. And he goes, hey, open the front. I want to see your motor.
Nah.
I'm going to do what I'm told.
Directions. I
open it.
I knew what you were
I
doing.
open it, and he goes, where's the motor? And you could hear his partner laughing in the background.
Oh.
And he goes, where's the motor? I go, it's a Porsche. The motor's in the back. And then he goes, you know what? Shut everything and get out of here.
Nice. And thank you so much for making the time. Seriously, can't wait to go on a drive, you know, with you. But I mean, let me tell you, you're not doing any service to me. I am so in love with Porsche, so this is definitely one more, you know, getting closer. I'm envisioning it myself. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
I'm so glad you got this car before the craziness, because they're so difficult to get now. And it sounds like you're the perfect owner, man. So any shout outs?
First of all, shout out to you. Thank you for inviting me. And my hope is actually to inspire you, like you and other people to follow their dreams. And this was just like Biggie, it was all a dream, right?
It was all a dream.
But shout out to the people that helped with this build. First person to shout out is actually my wife too. She actually forced me to go get my dream.
She forced you?
Yeah.
Oh man, sounds like a keeper.
She forced me. No, I'm just kidding. But shout out to Greg over at AG Auto Collision. He was the one who painted the whole car. Shout out to Mike over at MDK. You know, he won't just sell you a car just to sell you a car. He'll even deter you. He's like, hey, don't buy that one. Buy this one. If you want to buy this one, go ahead and buy that one. But
I wouldn't. What?
Yeah, seriously.
What's his business model?
Seriously, check out his page and look at his advertisement. He clowns cars like on purpose, and he goes, well, this one just sold actually. But nice. He clowns the cars on his thing, but he's a great guy. He's a straight honest guy. So shout out to MDK. Shout out to Edgar at Need for Speed for all the support. He gets me my, you know, little extra tidbits. Shout out to Eric at Supreme Power Parts for the BBS E88s. What else? P Club. This is my Porsche club. If you guys don't know, they're a really great group of guys. They're a good network. There's a bunch of guys that can point you to the right direction, from cars to suspension work, or we even have professionals. If you want dental work, we got dentists or doctors.
Yeah, network.
It's a big group of network. Who else am I forgetting? There's a lot of guys out there. So just shout out to all my friends and that just support, you know, and they know I love cars, and that's why I started a second page. It's just all cars, not just flooding my personal page. My page on that one is Auto Republic. Maybe you could put that on. But just shout out to all the Santa Clarita Porsche guys who also service the car. They're not just a dealer, because they're also owned by Galpin. So if you see their business model, they're not just like a typical dealer. They're people that really build relationships with them. So shout out to those guys.
Man, well, thank you so much, man. Seriously, it's a pleasure, and it's humbling to hear you started with the Maxima. Now we're here. So that's the thing. You know, we in life, we have to get better. We have to be patient, aggressively patient, as I like to say. And you can definitely achieve it. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're
man.
welcome, man.
It was a great morning. Thank you.